hey, if you're a US citizen and you want to protect your retirement and you haven't got our free ebook yet, then you're really missing out. So click on the link in the description and find out how you can secure your retirement and your future today.
Hello, lads. How are you doing?
Hi, Lee.
Lee, lad. How you doing? You all right, mate?
Yeah, listen, I was with Charlie yesterday.
Yeah, how's he doing?
Well, I've been in the health and fitness game for a very long time. So looking at him, he is exhausted. Yeah, he's all right. He's speaking, he's moving around, he's quite normal that way. But the man's exhausted. He needs a lot of time off, and he needs to look after himself a little bit instead of putting everybody else first. But he's in good hands. He's with his family. He's all right. I don't know whether you guys are aware, but I was Charlie's first interview.
Right.
In the very beginning, I did over like 300 videos with Charlie right at the start. Then we did obviously Digital Warriors, Angry Man in the Van, and then sure. So with what I'm bringing today, I'm like sort of helping Charlie a little bit because he needs to rest, but also a lot of my viewers don't understand much about this, the same as me. So I'm coming to this really green, right? So completely novice. And the only thing I know about it is from the movie John Wick when they started using the gold. I just thought it was cool. And when they put stuff in the movies, it normally happens about 10 years later. And that video, I think, the movie, must be about 10 years now, right?
Oh, God, it's been going a while. Yeah, I don't know how long. Yeah.
The
first one, definitely.
This is one of the questions, lads, I keep getting from a lot of people, and myself included. People are panicking about the banking system now, especially these CBDCs. Now, we don't get taught finance and skill, and I'm guessing, for me, because I'm really like cash is king and old school, something in your hand like gold and silver is a safe bet.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Can you give us a...
I guess, look, it's worth us just starting off by saying that we're not financial advisors. We don't give advice. We never, we have to. If anyone that's seen our videos before, they'll be sick of us saying this, but we have to say it, and it's good, we think, because advice is when you need that person and you have to keep going back to them. We'll never give financial advice. We just want to give people education, which is far better because we empower the individual and the families, and then they can make their own decisions because they're empowered to see the stuff for themselves. So just to say, none of this is financial advice. It's our opinions, and do your own research and do what you will with it. So
financial advice is not in our DNA, Adam, is it? So
no.
We'll just give you our opinion and tell you our thoughts. And that's where we go with it. Yeah.
So I think to your question about banks struggling and the CBDCs, I guess they're two quite big topics. Banks struggling, first of all. Banks are all interconnected. We saw that in 2007, 2008. It takes one of them, one of the dominoes to fall, and it has a knock-on effect. The reason we say 2007, 2008 is because it didn't happen in one instant. I guess the announcement that there was a collapse happened in one instant, but it took a while to play out. And if you saw the warning signs, then you could actually prepare yourself and position yourself and your family to not get hurt from it and even possibly benefit. With the banks that have failed recently, Credit Suisse, Silicon Valley Bank, they are the beginning. They are the beginning. Never in history have three banks failed on their own. The system's so interconnected that it can't happen. It's like saying I'm going to take all the pieces out of a Jenga and I'm just going to take everything out the bottom, and it's not going to affect anything further.
Nothing changes, but it does,
We just look at it very practically and say we don't know how long it's going to take to roll out. It could take 6 months. It could take a year. But it's a warning sign, and we think it's a big enough sign that people should do something about it. Don't sit there, see it happen, and do nothing, because that's when you'll get regret later on. You'll be kicking yourself when you saw the signs. So, not having loads of cash in the bank. Look, you have to deal with cash. Cash is good for day-to-day transactions. Try taking a bar of gold into Tesco's and buying some goods. It doesn't go down well. So it's good for day-to-day transactions. Gold and silver aren't. But gold and silver are good for a store of value, long-term store of value, where cash isn't. So we always say you've got to use the right tool for the job. Day-to-day transactions with cash, but don't store value in cash. And use metals for a long-term store of value. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, a friend of mine in America, because we have quite a big audience in America, but I have a few mates there as well. A couple of mates when I worked in the fitness industry. Now, I didn't know much about this, but there's a 401k, and he basically moved that into gold, and he said it's the best decision he's ever made. Do you know much about that, the 401k?
Yeah, so I guess in the UK we lump everything under one umbrella, which is called a pension. And in different parts of the world, they're all called different things. So in the US, you've got 401ks, you've got IRAs, you've got Roth IRAs, and they call them retirement accounts. It's essentially the same thing. You're sending money into your future. You're saving / investing funds and sending them into your future. Well, if you've got those in paper assets, when inflation hits, like it is now, they, take the hit. They're vulnerable. Whereas moving those retirement accounts into metals, into physical assets, you can't print, you can't manipulate, put you in a far more secure place. So in the UK and in other countries, we found it very, very difficult to find a solution to kind of direct people and say, look, here's what you can do. It's very hard. There's a lot of red tape. Companies don't want to even help you and assist you do it. Very costly. But in the US, it's actually very, very easy.
Very easy, isn't it? All set up for customers, isn't it? It's a white glove service, they call it, don't they? It's all done for them.
Yeah. You get your hand held from the very beginning right to the end. Very easy to do. And we've had a lot of feedback from people saying that it was a great move. They sleep better at night because they know what they've got in their future when they don't want to work or possibly can't work. We don't always think about that. They know their future is secure. Puts a smile on our face as well. So it gives a warm, fuzzy feeling that we've been able to help and direct them and educate them on that journey.
Yeah, US citizens have got a massive advantage there, Lee, over the rest of the world, really, for what we've witnessed and what we've seen. Massive advantage.
Yeah,
everyone else, it's a real struggle to do that, And then it's like, and we're not talking ETFs or ETCs either here. So please, because we've had some people come to us saying that they think they've done the wrong thing. Rather than buying physical gold, they've got ETFs instead, or ETCs, exchange traded commodities instead. Two different things.
Do you know about those, Lee? Or...
No, please explain. Don't forget, guys, I'm really green on this.
No, it's good. And please stop us and ask away. I don't want us to get into jargon and lose everybody. So essentially, there's two different groups of buying metals. There's allocated metals, where you legally own, you have the title to those metals, the serial bar number, and you have full legal ownership. Okay? So if you have 100 grams of gold, you know exactly which 100 grams you have got. It is 100% allocated to you and only you. And you might think, well, surely that's the only way to do it, right? Any other way doesn't make sense. But as we know, in the financial world, there's a lot of creative people that, leverage things and enable you to buy multiple versions of one thing. So that's allocated. The other is unallocated. And that is where I guess the opposite, you don't have legal title to the metal, to a specific type of metal, a specific bar or whatever. So, for example, it could still be physical, but it could be you own 100 grams, but you don't know which 100 grams. They just need to produce 100 grams when you want it. Okay? So you can still sell it. You still can sell the 100 grams. You can buy more, but you don't know exactly which bit. So that for us scares the what's it out of us because we want to know exactly what we own. We want to know the serial bar numbers. We want to know that no one else owns it. and if anything happens to the company, that we're kind of, our metal doesn't go with them.
Yeah, it doesn't affect our metal. Yeah, yeah.
And with unallocated, you're just kind of in the lines are very blurred about the ownership. Let's put it that way. The other way that you can, I guess, part of unallocated or a slightly different version is ETFs, and that's exchange traded funds. And all of that is just betting on the price of metals. There's no ownership. So allocated, full legal ownership, unallocated, and everything else. You have no physical legal title to any metals. To the point that with ETFs, you can actually sell more metal than you physically have. Because if everyone doesn't need to know the exact serial bar number, and you could sell it multiple times, and it happens all the time, like the banks. So the banks, you give the bank £1 or $1 or €1, and they can lend out 9 times that pound. Even though they haven't got it on deposit, the governments and the laws empower them to lend out 9 times what they've got on deposit. So that means that there's multiple people that have a say, or I guess, in theory, ownership of each pound or each euro. And we just don't want to do that with metals. We actually want to get as far away from the banks and how the banks work as possible. So if there's a way of buying gold where possibly other people own it, it could be leveraged out, and it's a similar model to the banks, we run a mile. We want to be very boring. We want to buy metal that's in a dark room, gathering dust that we own, and that's it.
Yeah, listen, I'm 100% with that, because this next question is very, very, very similar to what you're saying about this. So the crypto business, right? I'm not really into it. But every time I've invested in it, I've always lost money. Now, and as well as what people saying, it's too technical. They're not big fans of it, and it's still set up in like a bank, so someone could hack it, or something could happen with a bank. So it's much better to have something in your hands, right?
I think
we feel it is. Yeah, I mean, we both have some crypto also, but we're not a fan compared to metals. We'd rather have the physical over the digital any day. Yeah. We feel like we've just got more control. We're not against crypto, but it's very, very complicated still. It's a right palaver.
I think it goes back to having the right tool for the job.
I'm like very, very, very basic in this, and I'm always being cash is king. So for me, again, it's like when you look in my Revolut account and I see it, it's there's nothing there, is there? It's just a number. There's nothing physical about it.
Yeah, totally.
Mainly down, fine.
I think I've met people that have made money, but when I ask them how they've made money, I've never, and maybe this is my understanding, I've never had anyone tell me in a convincing way why they've made money. So I think, look, we're not here bashing crypto, because I think blockchain technology is very interesting.
It's got its place, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be part of our lives in the future, whether we like it or not. So I think part of me wants to embrace it, but I think still you have to decide what you put your value in. And again, pick the right tool for the job. Invest in things that you understand, because when the price of everything goes up and down, when it goes up, you're happy and you ask no questions. You don't care why it's happened. When it goes down, you start asking questions. Why has that happened? And a lot of the time, it's reasons that you might not know and out of your control. If you can at least understand the item, the material, the investment itself, then it removes some of those question marks. If it's you don't know how it works, you don't know why it's gone down, I don't know. I feel like people should just stick to what they know. Equally, we've had people before that say,
keep it simple, just keep it simple. Metals is simple, isn't it? When you know,
And we've had people that say, look, I've got £10,000 and I'm thinking I'll put 5,000 in crypto and 5,000 in gold. What do you think? And I always say to them, look, that's equal as far as capital allocation. You're putting of your 10,000, you put in an equal amount into either, but it's not equal as far as volatility. because crypto is way more volatile than gold. So actually, if you're looking at on capital allocation, yes, you're equal. But as far as volatility, you're really out of balance. So you've got half of your capital in something that's probably 5 times more volatile than the gold. So maybe you should adjust for that a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you do want to do that, like balance them on volatility as well as capital.
It's like having 2 friends. You've got one that's really reliable, that's always there, and that friend is always there within minutes if you need them. You've got another friend over here that turns up whenever they feel like it, and you can't rely on them. Yeah, to me personally, anyway. You know, I don't put all my eggs into crypto. For don't get me wrong, I like it. I've still got crypto, but most of my eggs personally are in metals because it's physical. It's there. I can rely on it. It's safe. It's secure. It protects you. It always has for thousands of years. Thousands of years of history. It's in human beings' DNA, metals. And well, you watch pirate films as a kid, don't you? And all these adventure films, and you go digging for gold, aren't you? That's where it comes from, I think. Yeah, I know the Western world's been taken away from gold a lot over the years. And, but I think they're coming back slowly now, aren't they? They're starting to realise that, hold on a minute, the system we live in is fragile. We need to go somewhere where it's safe and secure. We need to move over here. And you can't print gold. That's one of the main things.
Yeah.
You can't just print it out of thin air, can you?
Talking about Western cultures, Eastern cultures fully understand the power of gold.
It's in their culture, isn't it? Yeah.
We worked with a lot of the Gurkhas, the Nepalese, and they get it. They absolutely get it. They give gold at weddings and different things like that, and they all have gold and they know its value.
Yeah. What's like? So say I was just starting out and I still feeling it out. I'm not sure. What's the smallest investment I can do?
So we started €50 a month.
Okay.
You don't have to. That's not even the minimum. You can start smaller than that if that's all you can afford. But you don't need thousands of pounds. There's always been a thing with customers come to us now still saying, "Oh, I'm not a big fish. Do you want to speak to me?" type thing. Do you even want to bother with me? And we're like, "Well, yes. We need to help everybody, not just the people with lots of money or whatever." I mean, this is just me personally. I'd prefer to help people with not much. I'd love to get them from here to a better place, but we'll help everybody, anybody,
Yeah, that's because I had a comment as well on my Facebook chat that one lady said, because I said about investing in gold and silver, and she went, "Yeah, but it's all right, you're earning loads of money." And I said,
No.
those coins I had, I said, I'm sure they're around about €20 each. She went,
really?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can start really small. And that's a lot of people, this is how we started, rather than saving £50, £100 a month in the bank, we just said, look, we're now going to divert that and put it into metals.
It's metal instead. Yeah.
If people are saving money in a bank, they can save in metals. The barrier to entry is no bigger.
So a lot of parents are doing that now, Lee. They're setting up accounts for themselves, and they're also setting up accounts for their kids and even grandkids. And they're just saving there instead. My little boy, I set an account up for him when he was 3 days old, and since he's 5 now, so I've been putting money into metals for him over the past 5 years, and it's made a big difference.
Oh wow! So if I was wanting to buy some coins, and obviously I'm in Spain, how long does it take before you get them, receive them? What's the journey like?
Yeah, so I guess this is where you have to make a decision of whether you want them in storage or not. And this is just preference. We're not saying you should do one or you should do the other. We just tell you the pros and cons to each, and then it's up to you what you do. So initially, when James first started, he'll tell you he was having everything at his home. But it got to the point where you
thinking that was the only way to do it. I was thinking that was the best way to do it.
And the reason people buy metals is to feel. Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's to feel safe and secure. But the more I bought, sorry, Adam. Yeah, the more I purchased, the more I didn't feel safe and secure. I didn't leave the flipping house. And when I did, I was taking it with me. It was getting heavier and heavier and heavier. It didn't make me feel safe at all. You watch a lot online, people saying, if you don't hold it in your hands, you don't own it and all this. Well, yeah, that's great. But if your house is a fortress and you've got you're armed to the teeth and whatever else, great, you know, and you want to stay at home or whatever, you know. But so it's good to have some. This is just in our view. It's good to have some to hand in small denominations in case everything really does go that bad. So we can use that. But most of our metals are in vaults and safe and they're safe and secure in vaults. We've been in the vaults twice now to have a look at the security, and we know it's safe and secure. But yeah, so my view changed. It did change quite rapidly, actually. So I don't keep it at home anymore. I have very little in my hands. It's mainly in the vaults. But I do get why people... Yeah, but these are the questions we ask, Lee. When people get in touch with us, we've got a duty of care, haven't we, to look after people. That's all we care about, is doing what's right by them, not us. And we'll ask them these questions, and we'll help guide them to the right place, whether it's best bars or coins or having some at home or in the vault, or we'll go through all this with them and find out from their situation what is best for them. We'll help them decide what's best for them. We won't tell them. We'll help them decide, you know. We'll just guide them. But we ask all these questions, you know.
The reasons that we have stuff in the vault, let me just rattle off like five reasons, but 5 advantages that we feel it's worth having in the vault. Because again, when you have that distance and you can't, you know, touch it, you want to have some reassurance that it's worth it. So the first thing is, like James said, far more secure in the vaults. We've done a video about our trip to the vaults. You can actually see us holding gold bars. They're not our gold bars, but you can see. Yeah, we've got
part
pictures
of them
and videos.
Part of them was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, part of them, but we don't want the whole thing.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, and you can actually see us. We filmed a lot more in the vault, but we weren't allowed to use it all for security reasons. It was quite a stringent process. Anyway, so we've been in there. We've touched it, tasted it, seen it. It's real. And they are far more secure than your house. Like, you know, you think you got a double lock on your door, you'll be all right. Trust me, this is like some James Bond stuff you wouldn't even believe. So there's the security aspect. The other thing is try getting metals insured in your home. I don't think we've ever seen it done successfully. So again, it's about a balance of risk. In the vault, fully insured, 100% of the value, not 85 grand in a bank account or 100 euros or whatever, 100%. So that's another thing. They're audited daily and then also independently audited. So the vaults audit them every day. And then there's another independent auditor on top of that says, let's just check what the auditors did. And we like to say that everyone trusts everyone and everyone trusts no one all at the same time, just to do a double check. The other reasons are that you can buy silver and store it in the vaults, and by storing it in the right way, you don't pay the VAT. So
you don't pay 20% in the UK, do you? So it's a big chunk.
Legally, it's nothing dodgy or anything like that. But so in the UK, VAT is 20%. In Europe, 20-25%, something around there, depending on which country. So automatically, you can get 20-25% more for your money. So this is stuff.
I just wish we knew this 10 years ago, Lee. When I personally started, I wish I knew that back then. But anyway,
James was wandering up the high street, jingling around with all these silver bars in his pocket. So again, it's about what are your priorities? What is that worth it for you? Getting 20% more and it being insured and protected, even though it's not in your hand, is that worth it? And for us, it is. It is worth doing that. We can sell at any time within 3 clicks. The other thing we can do, which we'd love to chat to you about on another video,
I know what you're going to say.
We can actually switch metals. So we can switch within a few clicks between gold and silver.
Right.
Let me give you 2 scenarios of why you would do that. Let's say you've bought a load of silver. It's in this special vault and you've not paid the VAT. And you wanted to get it delivered. Well, the day that you bring it out of that vault, it now no longer has this VAT-free status. So as soon as it comes out, you'd have to pay the VAT.
Right.
Taxman's there with his hand out. You can't get around it. But if you switched your silver to gold and then got the gold delivered, no VAT.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's one reason. One of the applications of switching, again, can't do that, or it's very difficult to do that if it's in your hand. Okay. The second thing, and this is where we have to control ourselves because we get too excited.
Not get too excited, yeah.
We'll do another video on this.
You will do another video on this because
we've got loads
it's a much bigger topic.
Talk through.
You can actually, and you won't believe me when I initially say it, is you can switch metals and generate free metals for yourself just by switching. Let me explain. It's not, I'm not just, just hyping things up for no reason. We do it for ourselves. We've had customers doing it for a few years now. We've even interviewed them and said, look, what did you have before? You switched, and what have you got now? And they've increased the amount they've got. So think about it like this. I'll give you the quick version. Imagine you've got 100 grand cash and you're buying a house. You switch your cash to a house. We call it buying a house, but you're really just swapping. That house then goes up to 150 grand. You then swap or sell this house for cash, and you've now got 150 grand. Are you with me? Assuming no fees and all the other rubbish that goes with it. So you have seemingly made 50 grand from nowhere, right? Still one house, it's still money. Imagine doing that, but swapping paper money and a house for gold and silver. You can actually have, say, 100 grams of gold, switch it to silver. There's a price shift between the two, which happens all day long. You switch your silver back to gold, you've now got 110 grams. And you didn't have to put your hand in your pocket to get that extra metal. You could have that 10 grams of gold delivered physically in your hand and still have the 100 grams in the vault that you started with. And it doesn't cost you any money out of your pocket. This is what we're helping people to do. We're helping them to multiply their metals.
This is a game changer. That's why we get excited about this.
We heard about this years ago and we never understood it. Never really understood it.
It took us years to get our head around it, didn't it? Yeah.
We came back to it and we started.
If I invested in that, you could make like a monthly side wage of it.
So it depends when this shift in the prices happens. It could happen in a couple of weeks. It could take months. But the idea is that, look, if you buy 100 gram bar and it's in your hand, it will only ever be 100 grams. It's never going to multiply. It's going to sit there gathering dust, which is fine. If you're moving from cash to metals, you've already won. Great. The next level is to make your metals multiply, make them grow, make them have babies. Yeah. So this is what we show people how to do it. And in theory, yes, you could have your like a pot, like a retirement pot of metal.
Yeah.
And you could make that metal multiply and you could skim off what you make and never touch the principal, never touch the initial.
Brilliant.
You could do that. It makes sense to leave it in, really, but you could do that because you could compound it then, couldn't you, if you left it in?
It's like compound that effect. It's kind of interest, isn't it?
Yes, but it's in metals. That's the good thing.
Do you know, Lee, I think it's very similar to Forex trading. You're trading between one currency and another. But in Forex trading, you can lose the whole lot, can't you? You can literally lose it overnight.
Yeah.
If you get it wrong. With this, you don't lose anything.
The worst case scenario...
Your gold and silver can't just disappear.
The worst case is you stay a bit longer in the other metal. So you hold gold and then you go, right, now's the time. I've worked out, or we'll guide you. We've done videos on this. We'll guide you to switch from gold to silver at this point. Great. Now we've got to wait for a price shift. Fine. So what do? You just own silver for a bit. That's it. You just own silver. It's never going to be taken off you. It's never going to go.
I can talk to you guys all day because this is really exciting for me. Because I know nothing about it, so it's like it's new information, and my listeners as well are going to be thinking the same. But I don't want to make the videos too long because people are just going to very short.
True. And we get too excited as well.
That was brilliant, brilliant for me as well. I learned a lot there, and I'd love to do another video on what you're talking about there because that sounds
That's the good stuff. I think, look, once you've found you got the education on why it's worth buying metals in the first place, and kind of tick that box, and you think because it can be a bit scary at first. Then we look at switching and actually accelerating what you've got. But all we would say, Lee, is look, if anyone's watched this and they think, I'd like to know more, I would like to know how to do this stuff, and I want, just get in contact with us. Get in contact with us. We're like this all the time. We're not going to, ring you up and be like, you must buy gold. We're not salesmen or anything like that. We just show you what
Far
we do,
from it.
What the people that we've helped, what they do, and then it's your decision. If you want to do it, great. If not, no problem, no problem. So
brilliant. Listen, we'll put the links below, but I want to ask you one thing, just for me, because I'm a big fan of John Wick, right? How much are those gold coins worth reuse?
Well, gold coins are normally an ounce, aren't they? An ounce gold coin, and what are they, about £1,600? If they are 1 ounce coins.
All right, so
but
they're
normally 1 ounce. Is that right, Adam? About
yeah, maybe a little bit less, but something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's if they're investment coins. So if they're just
Depends
investment coins, then that's what they'd be worth. If they're collectible coins, then like any collectible, you know, you can have a painting that you don't even know what it is, and it's worth millions. So
yeah.
Working out how much it cost him to bury them 12 bodies, so that was about 20 grand's worth.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. Do you know, I remember counting them one time. We're watching John Wick, so I love it myself, and working out how much that could, you know, potentially have in his hand and in his box when he opened his little box with all the coins in.
It gets me, every time I look at
thinking,
all the gold
wow.
coins.
Yeah,
that silver coins is completely different, but gold coins, wow, that is a lot of money. It's a big difference, isn't there, between 1 ounce of silver, 1 ounce silver coin, and 1 ounce gold.
Exactly.
You know, it's mad.
Listen, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time for that, and really, really interesting education as well today.
Yeah,
thanks for that.
No worries. Good to chat with you, Lee.
We love it. So it's nice to meet you, mate.
Cheers.